Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. Some, I guess, good news out of the Saints camp. Trevor Penning has been designated to return from injured reserve. This gives him a 21-day window, which he may practice with teammates, work his way back up into shape and things like that. And that window, he gets, a chance to return to this lineup, so he can return anytime in this 21-day window. They talked to Trevor Penning. He said he spent 4 weeks on a scooter and 4 weeks in a walking boot. Obviously, when you have a foot injury and you're a big guy, you can't put pressure on it. You can't put over 300 pounds on that foot or on your other foot because that's going to cause problems. So he was on a scooter. He was in a walking boot trying to relieve pressure, and now he's finally back. He's able to practice. He's able to move around. No, he's not going to play this week. Don't get carried away. He's just coming back. He's probably going to have to work himself back into shape. Game shape for sure, practice shape for sure, get his technique back polished, get some reps in. But it is good news on the Saints front. The question obviously becomes, when he comes back, when he's ready to go, when he's fully healthy, does he take James Hurst's spot at left tackle? Now, James Hurst, he hasn't been bad this year. Honestly, nobody on the offensive line has been bad this year. Obviously, Ramtek's great. McCoy's pretty good. Everybody else is solid. Ruiz has been solid this year, probably our third best lineman, honestly. Or he's not been our third best. He's been tied up there with Pete and Hurst. So when Penny comes back, will he have a chance to start? I think yes. Some people may say no. The Saints may feel no. But I'll kind of run through my process of this. Obviously, you don't want to throw him out there in the fire right away. Don't want to do that. Let him get back in shape. Maybe get him some reps. One idea I have, you can kind of treat it like preseason. Let James Hurst start the first quarter. Maybe break Trevor Penning in. Get him some reps that way. Obviously, excuse me, you don't want to, flip-flop left tackles during the game, during the regular season. That's really not the best of ideas. But when you got a first-round pick that hasn't played, obviously he's going to be your future at tackle. You want to get him some reps. It's not that many games left in the season. We're already past halfway. So if you're going to play him, especially with he'll probably miss the next 2 weeks, probably come back the third week, if I just had to guess, you're going to want to get him reps. Also, another thing they can do, we run a lot of 6-down lineman packages. It hasn't really been effective this year because that 6 lineman just hasn't been, the same. You can throw him in that. Throw him in as an extra tackle next to Ramtek, next to Hurst. On the line of scrimmage, the guy that comes in motions on heavy packages. We could definitely do that. Use him in goal line situations when we bring in extra linemen. It's ways to get him on the field, to get, that feel back of football. Hasn't played football in a long time now since the preseason. So it's many ways the Saints could go about getting him back on the field. Or the third option, the craziest option, the option that I would do, especially like I said, if we're going to suck already, just throw him out there at left tackle. What's the worst that could happen? Especially if we're not winning games. If we're already losing, you got a first-round pick, not that long in the season left. If it's looking like the playoffs is not going to happen, you're going to have 5-6 games left in the season. Just throw him out there. Let him get his feet wet. Get something on film, things he can work on in his rookie year. The one thing about the offensive line is you're going to have to play every snap. So he can't take time off, reps off and things like that. He's going to have to play. Get those games on film, figure out what he needs to work on in the offseason, get stronger, more technique, whatever it's going to be. That's the option I would take. I don't know what option y'all would take. Like I said, James Hurst hasn't been bad this year. It hasn't been a gaping hole at left tackle of guys just missing blocks every last play. He's been pretty solid. I would say throw Trevor Penning out there, let him get his feet wet, and whatever happens, happens. A problem I can see the Saints running into, maybe the Saints run off 2 spots in a row. Who knows? 2 wins in a row. The Saints may do that. I'm not holding my breath on that. I'm sure y'all aren't either. But say they win the next 2 games and Trevor Penning is finally cleared. Now you're going to have a problem. You don't want to mess up that mojo. You don't want to bring in a guy at left tackle, especially if you got, back-to-back wins. That'll just be troublesome. You don't want to do that. So maybe he can only come in on those goal line packages, those 6 lineman packages. But, man, you do want to see your first-round pick on the field, especially because this draft class, it's looking special. Chris Olave out there doing this thing. Alontae Taylor finally getting healthy. He's out there doing this thing. And now you add the other first-round pick with that first and second-round pick, Trevor Penning. If he goes out there and performs, this is looking like one of the best Saints, draft classes in a long time. It's really going to be up there. I'm not going to compare it to the, Lattimore, Kamara, that draft, Ramchick, all those guys. But it's looking really, really good, man. You got like a future All-Pro in Chris Olave, future All-Pro, maybe Pro Bowl in Alontae Taylor. He's playing that well. I won't go as far to say All-Pro with him, but at least a future Pro Bowler. And if Trevor Penning could come in and do his thing, that'd be great. We also seen flashes out of Rashid Shaheed. So, man, this Lewis Kidd played well for some time, at the offensive line as an undrafted rookie. So this draft class is looking really good. I would love to see Trevor Penning out there. He's designated to return from IR. They said it's a 21-day window. I have no idea what it means when that 21-day window is up. I don't know every last single NFL rule. I won't pretend I do. But this is good news, I guess. Finally, yay. Good news for the Saints. The Saints did sign a couple guys, elevated them from the practice squad to the active roster. Derek Kelly, offensive tackle, he was signed. Kenny Young, linebacker, he was signed. Those guys were signed to the practice squad, but then you got guys that signed to the active roster. Adam Prentice and linebacker Nafi Sewell, he's a brother of Penei Sewell, the Lions offensive tackle. I think Nafi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he had a very, very good offseason with the Saints. He had a very good college career as well, so he's probably going to come in and have to play linebacker for us. He's familiar with the system. He was in it in the offseason, preseason, and things like that, so that's going to be good. The unfortunate news on this situation is Pete Werner has an ankle injury. Now, ankle injury isn't the end of the world. Well, let me not say that because it is the Saints, and we watch Michael Thomas go through nonsense with that ankle injury. So who knows? But looking like Pete Werner's going to be out for a couple weeks. That's going to be a big, loss for the Saints. He's been playing well, man. He was putting up an all-pro type season. Lost a little steam against the Ravens with that injury, obviously. That's going to put, to bed anything, any chance of him being all-pro as a first-year starter. But still a good season for P1. I'm talking like it's over. It's not over. I don't know how long he's going to be out. I'm just assuming it's going to be 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. It's just those ankle injuries are tricky, man. If you play fantasy football, Jonathan Taylor got me going through the loop. Every other week he's hurt because of that ankle. So the best thing to do is to make sure you're 100% before you come back on that ankle injury. See Michael Thomas already, like I said. And for Pete Werner, that may take a couple weeks. We'll see. Maybe he's a fast healer, man. Maybe he's like Wolverine or somebody, and he'll come back faster. And we'll just wrap this up by talking about that injury report for the Saints. It's just devastating. It's ugly because it's always been ugly since week 1, since preseason day 1 when everybody was out. But Marcus Davenport, that calf injury he left the game with against the Ravens, he limited practice Wednesday and Thursday. Well, I guess Wednesday was a guess because I think they said the Saints didn't practice. But today, Thursday, limited. Mark Ingram did not practice both days. He's probably not going to play. Jarvis Landry, limited practice both days. This will be big to get Jarvis Landry back. 2 limited practice in a row. He's dealing with that ankle injury. Now, if you've seen what I just said about Pete Werner, those ankle injuries are tricky. So who knows if he's going to play. Marshawn Lattimore did not practice again. He's probably not going to play. He's dealing with something that's obviously taking a long time to recover. Eric McCoy did not practice with a calf injury. That's not good. You're starting center. He's not practicing, looking like Ruiz, probably going to play center. Then you got Andres Pete, did not practice both days. That's also not good because that's your starting left guard that hasn't practiced. Your starting center hasn't practiced. That's just not good on the offensive line front. Then you have Ryan Ramczyk, limited both days, but we know how that goes. Ryan Ramczyk don't got to practice. He's good to go when it's time to go, as long as he's healthy. Then you got Pete Werner, who did not practice as well. Like I just said, the ankle injury is going to be tricky. Marcus May, abdomen, did not practice. We have P.J. Williams back, so if he misses, it's not the end of the world, but I would like him to be out there, man. A nice signing this offseason. I would like for him to, put back-to-back solid games together. Then you got Cam Jordan, who did not practice, but that's just a rest day for him. He doesn't have any injury designation. Quick rundown of the Steelers. Their kicker did not practice. William Jackson, their cornerback, didn't practice. The other cornerback, Witherspoon, didn't practice. The other cornerback, Levi Wallace, did practice. Their long snapper, I don't know why he's his ribs, but he practiced. Miles Jack did not practice, linebacker. Then Cameron Hayward did not practice, but he's a veteran. He's probably just taking a rest day. So, man, it's going to be an interesting game against the Steelers. I'm ready for it. No predictions just yet. I'll save that for another video. But main thing here is, man, Pete Werner's probably going to be out, and Trevor Penning is designated to return to the Saints. We'll see when that happens, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. As always, this is DaBoot Tragedies, and I'm out.